world.tv. Today we got Eriq. How you doing, Eriq?
How you doing?
Cool. Thanks for coming on our show. So tell me, when did you start doing music?
I started doing music when I was around 16, 17 years old. I had a lot of ideas going through my head. Music is where you express them. I've been doing it ever since. Going on, I think, 14, 15 years now.
You play your own instruments too, or no?
I play a majority of my own stuff. At least get the chord going, what I need to have done. I pretty much do my drum beats, but when it gets a little bit over my head, I bring in some talented musicians to finish the job. And that I know that they're going to be able to capture exactly what I want done.
In your music, you have like different styles. What inspires you to?
Well, I'm a big fan of different types of music. Everything. I listen to every song. You know, my philosophy has always been a good song is a good song, whether it's country, rock, hip hop, anything. You know, I was brought up listening to salsa, you know, mariachi music, and then my mom would throw in a Patsy Cline and throw in a country song, which at the time I hated. But now, the more I look back at it, it just helps mold me and hear different sounds and, you know, develop what I wanted to do. And then when I moved overseas into Europe, you know, it helped me see like a different sound completely. And then I've been able to just incorporate a lot of different things and what I like. You know, I'm a big Gypsy Kings fan, you know, my earlier stuff. And even now, what I'm starting to bring back is I'm a big, heavily guitar guy. And I just look to explore different sounds. I'm a huge Sade fan. That's like my number one. Sweetback, they inspire me a lot. You know, I know Maxwell, George Michael, everybody. I'm pretty much open.
That's cool. Now, tell me what all the people you worked with, which one was the first one that like really inspired you, motivated you?
As far as artists or musicians?
Yeah, artists.
I can't say anybody really inspired me. Every time I go in to do a track with somebody, they bring out something different. You know, I've worked with some people that really surprised me, like on this upcoming record we got coming out for Striptease, Magic came in, and I never really thought what I saw live. You know, he just spit freestyle like a track. It's like live without even really doing anything, and that was pretty impressive to me, you know. And he's a veteran, been doing this for a long time, and that to me was very, very a lot of talent, you know. And he was just on point, on key, didn't really have to do anything. Mela Mayonnaise, Sendog, you know, Monteloco, everybody, Latin Froze, everybody that I worked with, you know, from way back in the day with Rec, everybody just has brought their own style and everything unique, you know. And that's what I try to do, because when I put together a song, I try and put it together with the right people that I know will excel in that song that I think. You know, and as much as people always say they can rap on every track or do everything on every track, you know, as a producer side of myself, it's not always the case. You know, certain people sound better with certain vibes, certain aspects of the song. So that's what I look for.
Who did an interview with ODM? He said he did a song with you.
Yeah, me and ODM did a track called Ride. It's got a very, very unique sound to it. And when you hear it, you know what I'm saying. It's one of those tracks that I based the whole album on Strip Club, but this track is. I was in the method of driving to the strip club, so it's a really laid back. It's almost got like this. It's definitely a West Coast laid back, old school type. Once you hear it, I wish I had a sound flute here. That's one I don't have. But ODM came on it. He did a really good job. Knocked out 16 bars. I'm sure he's gonna be happy with it. He hasn't even heard the final mix yet, but he's gonna like it. I guarantee it.
Cool. So tell me about your new album coming up, Striptease. You were telling us?
Striptease is a thought. I was in Texas, and I went into a strip club, and basically, sometimes certain things motivate you. And I was sitting right by the stage, and this girl just started dancing, and I just said the words, "Damn, you're sexy," and then light bulb went off in my head, and the whole record was born, and I basically did a whole record on strip clubs after that. I got a lot of good people working on this record, and I'm really... It's been done for a while, and finally it's going to be put out, and I'm just looking forward to see the response and see how it goes.
So you were saying that, tell us the story about when you were riding in the strip club?
I was in the strip club and literally asking the waitress for napkins and a pen, which is kind of ironic. They're asking for lap dances, and I'm asking them for a pen, but I was asking them for a lap dance. I was asking for a pen to write these lyrics, because, you know, if you write, you know, once you got the idea in your head, if you don't put it down, you may not remember it. And it was just clicking that time, and then literally the next day we went and did the beat, and it just all fit. And from that point on, it was just born. The record was just born, and it just went in succession.
Were you front stage or were you in the back?
I was actually sitting probably around 5 feet from the stage watching this girl dance. And, you know, that's all you need sometimes. You know, I get a lot of motivation from seeing women dance because to me, there's nothing more sensual that helps me write to get ideas. You know, and that's what I like to write about. Is just, you know, especially my music, you'll see more of a seductive sensual side on this record.
Cool. So you hear that, folks? Whenever you feel like you got a great idea, write it up. Do it on the spot, because like he said, it might be gone.
You never know when it's gonna be gone.
Tell us.
I've been MTV now for around 8 years. I really got into that kind of by accident, but it's been a fortunate thing. You know, I'm doing a lot of the new music now from my UPN, my network that's coming out. So be sure to look out for that. It's another opportunity, another venue. You know, don't ever sell yourself short of what you want to do because you never know what opportunities are thrown at you. And like, you know, Miller Genuine actually says it right when it says never miss a genuine opportunity because you never know when it's going to come back again. You got to just take every chance you can get and do what you can the first time. You know, and build relationships because you never know who's going to be doing what in the future. You know, you may one day run Universal Music. You know, and you never know what's going to happen.
Cool. Tell us, and any of those shows you're working on, is there any cameos or?
No, they try to get me on a couple shows one time just because they play a lot of my music. But when it comes to the acting side, I don't really want to get in that. You know, I want to focus more on just the music and the production. You know, I know better just on base of what I've seen. You know, I don't want to be seen as an actor until more of my music gets accepted because I know it's a lot easier for a musician to be accepted as an actor than an actor as a musician. And I've been doing music for too long to not do it, and that's my heart, that's my passion. You know, I got this note here, and the only reason I got it made because I love music that much and I have it close to my heart. So that's why, you know, it's one of those things where music is my love. I try to get out of it, ain't gonna happen. So I'm just stuck with music for my life.
What show is on the air on that weekend?
You can watch a lot of my music on Desire, Art of Betrayal. I forget what other shows are coming out with Fox, but a lot of them like Channel 13, you know, Dismissed MTV, you know, a lot of stuff.
Dismissed too?
Dismissed too. A lot of stuff that they used it for, you know, I don't really know whatever until I get my royalty thing in the mail. So, you know, it's one of those things where I find out 3 months later down the road, but yeah, those are all people I've gotten from and what they're using it for.
Cool. You hear that, folks? When you watch Dismissed, he's the one that does the music for it. You can see a lot more of his stuff on openworld.tv. Also, you can buy his CDs there too. Any other thing you want the audience to know about?
Well, the only thing is I can tell people, especially if you're doing music, just take your time. You know, make sure you get the right stuff down. Don't rush a project. You know, you only get one opportunity to show people what you got, so don't ruin that opportunity by giving something that's not ready. You know, a lot of times people come to me and say I can knock out an album in a week, and you know, in a week you can barely gather your thoughts for one song. In my opinion, and you really got to take your time and go back. Do something, listen to it, go back, because you can always make changes. But once it's final, it's final. And the more time you give the project, the better it's going to come out.
Cool.